so here we have a diagram of the heart. So the heart has 4 chambers. You've got 2 atria and 2 ventricles. So the 2 upper chambers of the heart are called atrium, and the plural is atria, and you've got 2 lower chambers which are called ventricles. So the function of the heart is obviously to pump blood around the body, and the blood contains lots of things: oxygen, nutrients, various gases, hormones, that kind of thing. So blood first enters the heart and it enters into the atrium on either side. So it's useful to think of the heart as a dual pump. So you've got 2 pumps. One pump pumps blood to the lungs, and one side of the heart pumps blood to the rest of the body. So the right heart pumps blood to the lungs, and the left side of the heart pumps blood to the rest of the body. So blood is received into the atrium. It is then the atrium contract and pump blood to the lower chambers, the ventricles. So they pass through these valves here. So on the right side you've got the tricuspid valve, and on the left side you've got the mitral valve. So blood is pumped into the ventricles after the atria contract, and when the ventricles contract they pump blood either to the lungs or to the rest of the body. So one of the primary functions of the heart and the circulatory system is to deliver oxygen to the tissues of the body. So when you breathe in, you breathe air into your lungs, and air contains oxygen, and in the lungs oxygen diffuses across the alveoli, which are the little sacs in the lungs, and it enters into the bloodstream. So you breathe oxygen and it enters into your lungs, and then it diffuses into the blood. So on this diagram the red vessels show, the red colour demonstrates that the blood is carrying oxygen, and the blue colour demonstrates that the blood is deoxygenated, so it has no oxygen. So when blood enters into the lungs and it diffuses across the alveoli into the bloodstream, it is then carried to the heart, and it's carried to the left side of the heart because the left side of the heart pumps blood to the rest of the body, and the body needs oxygenated blood so it can function. So oxygen diffuses into the bloodstream through the lungs, and it enters into the left side of the heart, into the atrium. So the left atrium contracts, sends blood into the ventricles, the left ventricle. The left ventricle contracts and sends blood to the rest of the body. So it sends blood up to the head and to the rest of the body. The body then uses up all this oxygen through muscular contractions and various other things, respiration, and then once the cells and tissues of the body are done with the oxygen, with the blood, it is returned back to the heart. So blood returns back to the right side of the heart. So this is blood that has been used up, depleted of oxygen. So deoxygenated blood returns to the right side of the heart. So it enters into the right atrium, the atrium contracts, sends blood into the right ventricle, and the right ventricle shoots blood out here and sends it to both lungs to receive oxygen again, and the process continues. So blood is returned back to the left side, it's oxygenated in the lungs, returned to the heart, and the heart contracts and sends the blood back out to the head and the rest of the body. So this happens simultaneously. It doesn't. So the left side and the right side contract simultaneously. So you've got this pump to the lungs and this pump to the rest of the body. So the pump to the lungs is often known as the pulmonary circulation, and the pump that sends blood to the rest of the body is known as the systemic circulation, because it provides blood to the systems of the body. So just to quickly recap before I switch back to the 3D model, the heart consists of 4 chambers. You've got 2 upper chambers called atria, singular is atrium, so 1 atrium on either side, and you've got 2 ventricles. So the atrium are smaller chambers where the blood is first received. the atrium contract and send blood to the ventricles. The ventricles are more powerful and muscular and send blood to the lungs and to the rest of the body. The right side of the heart receives deoxygenated blood, and it sends this deoxygenated blood to the lungs to receive oxygen. The left side of the heart receives oxygenated blood from the lungs, and it pumps this out to the rest of the body and to the head. So think of the heart as a dual pump. It's got one pump that sends blood to the rest of the body and one pump that sends blood to the lungs to receive oxygen. So I've just flicked back to the 3D model of the heart, and this one doesn't look as clear as it is in the diagram, but I'll talk you through the structure of the heart. So I'll just switch to another view of the heart, just isolating the heart. So remember on the diagram you saw the left and right atrium. So these were the upper chambers of the heart, and this is where blood is received from the rest of the body on the right side and from the lungs on the left side. So this is the right atrium here, and you can see it's receiving blood from a vessel up here and a vessel down here. So the vessels which immediately lead to the heart to bring blood to the heart and take blood away from the heart are known as the great vessels, and there are 4 great vessels. So on the right side of the heart, which is this side, you've got the right atrium, and the blood vessels leading to the right atrium are called the vena cava. So you've got a superior vena cava and an inferior vena cava. Leading away from the heart, so if you remember, the right side pumps blood to the lungs and is called a pulmonary circulation. You've got the pulmonary trunk. So this comes from the right ventricle. So this area here is the right ventricle, and it's not as clear as it is on the diagram, but this is the right side of the heart and this is the right ventricle, and the right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs via the pulmonary trunk. So the pulmonary trunk is another one of the great vessels. So the final great vessel is the aorta, and it forms this arch here, and this pumps blood up to the up to the head and to the rest of the body. So if I just rotate this model around so we can look at the back of the heart, you can see these 4 vessels entering into this chamber. So this is the left chamber of the heart, so it's the left atrium. So you've got the right atrium here and the left atrium here, and you've got these vessels which are leading into this chamber. So these are the pulmonary arteries, pulmonary veins. So you've got the pulmonary veins leading into the left atrium, carrying oxygenated blood. The left atrium contracts and shoots blood out of the aorta. The aorta then sends blood up to the head and to the rest of the body. Blood then is then used up, depleted of oxygen, and returned to the heart via the inferior and superior vena cava, which return blood into the right side of the heart, the right atrium. The right atrium contracts, sends blood into the left ventricle, which contracts and shoots blood up through the pulmonary trunk. This sends blood to the lungs, which oxygenates the blood and returns it via the pulmonary veins to the left side of the heart, and the cycle continues.